So I wanted to do a bit of a video talking about Magnolia Parks, which I read recently. I don't have a physical copy with me, and I can't just really sit in front of a camera and show my face at the moment because I'm just feeling a bit crap. So I thought, let's go old school and do like a little like mind map thing to kind of talk about it. So I have awful handwriting. So Magnolia Parks. So the main characters, you have Magnolia and BJ. Magnolia is a socialite, so she's very fashion savvy, and that is something that comes up a lot in the book. She does constantly talk about people's fashion choices, which is a little bit irritating at times, especially when she judges them. Like, get a grip. Fashion savvy. Oh yeah, and BJ does something on Instagram, if I remember correctly. If I were to describe Magnolia in this book, I would say she's definitely neurotic, obsessive, reluctant, and she kind of needs the male gaze. Kind of reminds me of Effie from Skins. She's kind of similar in that sense. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so the sort of needs the male gaze comes from probably the fact that she has a really poor relationship with her father. Which is unfortunate, but would make sense why she's a little bit damaged. You have BJ. How would I describe BJ? So he's possessive, a bit childish, honestly, and bit crazy, honestly, as well, I'll say. I didn't like either of these characters, by the way. Just if you want to know. Oh yeah. They are toxic. That's their main sort of connection, and I hate books, these sort of romance books where they're just toxic, because I'm reading it, and I'm a logical reader as opposed to like someone who reads for fun. So like the minute I'm realizing they're toxic, I'm like, what is the point? What is the point of them being together? What is the point of, making the reader hope for them to get together? I think it's crazy. And what is also crazy about this book is the fact that the side characters are kind of egging them on to get together, which is crazy because of the sort of things that they do, especially BJ. He's a bit of a slag. So I don't understand their motivations. And they were together once, but they broke up because he did some bad things. Why? When slag? Fair point, I think. What else can I say about this book? There are some other kind of love interests in this. There's Tom England, who Magnolia had a crush on. Mag crush when young, and he's just a much nicer man than BJ, but she's still too attached to BJ, so she doesn't really see. And then when she does, it doesn't matter because she goes back to him anyway. Which at that point in that book, I wanted to throw it out the window. It was horrific. It was horrific to read. And there is there's a plot point in this book that kind of comes up a couple of times, which is based on something that BJ did, and that does get answered at the end, which essentially is the only part of the book I find interesting. So yeah, the book ended with a bang, and it was so nice because they just spent this whole book essentially just kind of going back and forth to each other. Like, that's kind of how the chapters worked, you know. So Magnolia would get hurt by BJ, then kind of, you know, go on a rampage, on an emotional rampage. But then the author would kind of constantly express how much she loved him, which was ridiculous because obviously he was constantly hurting her, kept egging on love, but obviously it wasn't love at all. Yeah, and it was really, really, really hard to kind of just constantly kind of see that happen. Yeah, you know, when I was talking about like how the side characters were kind of getting them to, trying to kind of force them to get back together. I think it probably might have something to do with the fact that they're kind of like, well, they're all socialites, aren't they? They're kind of rich kids who are like obsessed with image and like media perception. Oh god, I was about obsessed. So, you know, what better thing to do than get kind of two of the hottest people in society to get together. No, you know, no consideration for his abhorrent behaviour at all. Let's say, which kids obsessed with image, media, perception. And Magnolia did have a sister in this book. Can't remember her name. But she was a strange one as well because she, you know, she was more logical, but still not enough to kind of really put Magnolia off getting back together with BJ. Yeah, I will say, like, if the ending didn't happen, I would probably have given this book like a 2, but erased it to a 3 out of 5. Because of it. But I heard there's a sequel as well, and I swear I can't put myself through that again because it's so irritating. Yeah. What else can we say about this book? Oh. Oh yeah. So Magnolia and Tom had like an agreement going on because, you know, she was still kind of attached to BJ but like couldn't have him, and he was interested in someone else who was married, and so they kind of made an agreement, you know, to kind of socially present as a couple without actually being a couple. You know, so what's it called? That's a trope, isn't it? That's the arranged, well, it's not arranged marriage, but arranged relationship trope, you know, which typically in books does kind of lead to a lasting relationship. But yeah, I was very frustrated with this book. I don't know why there are so many books like this where the characters, the love interests, just have no business being together. Why can't we have more kind of books where the love interest is like actually a decent human being? You know, why? Also, one thing I just remembered, the way that they are around each other is very strange, in that they'll kind of sleep together, but, you know, not actually sleep together, which is very bizarre, very odd behaviour. Yeah. Although you know, she is neurotic, so that would kind of make sense why she would behave like that. And he's obsessed with her, so he would kind of do that for her. Yeah, I think that covers all I want to say. Yeah, don't like these books. I probably should kind of give up reading these books because, like, I just kind of tear them apart. Essentially, it's just not for me. It just makes me feel awful reading these books. Yeah, there is one book I read quite a while ago called The Paris Connection. I don't know if anyone's read it, but from what I remember, the love interest in that book's actually a really nice guy, and I think I did really enjoy that book. So if anyone wants a recommendation, there's one for you. Yeah, I hope you found that interesting. My little breakdown of this book. There's a lot more I could have said, but I don't have the book in front of me, so there's only so much I can remember. But yeah, if you like this, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you again soon. Bye. So by the way, these are the books I'm reading right now. I'm reading 2 at a time at the moment to kind of like try and get through my TBR quickly. I don't have a job and I haven't had a job all year, so I've got plenty of time to read books. Both of these books so far are quite unhinged. The characters in this are very unhinged, but like the kind of descriptions in this book, sort of things that are said, are kind of mad, honestly. Kind of reminds me of Stephen King's sort of writing style, and I love R.F. Kuang. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant kind of writer, you know, in terms of kind of like destroying people, essentially emotionally destroying anyone who wants to read her books. So yeah, I'm liking both these books so far, and I would recommend reading them. So there you go. More book recommendations for you.